It is, well, there's a lot, and there's all this sort of superficial gobbledygook around, oh, let's have our values defined, and, you know, then who lives by the values? We're not able to do the activity on judging functions, the same thing. We wanted to gather around afterwards. Now, I'd like to can you invest just a few minutes so I can explain what judging and perceiving really means? Yeah. Are you okay if I do that?
Yeah.
I wonder if I should have cleaned this off. All right. I think the judging and perceiving are the most misunderstood. This is what Myers-Briggs added to try and explain which function you use in which world. So, if you have a judging preference, it means you use the judging function in the external world. So which are the judging functions? Thinking and feeling.
Yeah.
So which are the two judging functions you use in the external world? So all the MBTI was doing is saying, if you have a judging preference, it means you either judge or make decisions in the external world using extroverted thinking, or you make decisions in the external world using extroverted feeling. That's all the judging preference means. And the times when I teach it, often people say, well, the judging preference seems like extroverted thinking. And I say, no, it's the other way around. Extroverted thinking is the reason you have a judging preference. And sometimes in the judging preference, there's not enough extroverted feeling described. So I find people with extroverted feeling often unsure whether they have a perceiving or a judging preference, because most with a judge who use harmonizing, this is going to be 7th or 8th for them. So that's all that it means. And if you just make decisions externally, what do you do internally?
Perceive.
Perceive. So that means you either use this, so if you judge externally, you perceive internally. It's a brilliant way of organizing it, actually. So STJ, NTJ, SFJ, NFJ. If you have a perceiving preference, it means you use your perceiving function in the external world. So which are the perceiving functions? That's it. So this is sensing and intuition, and if you're perceiving externally, it's either experiencing or brainstorming. And I think it looks quite different. I think for people who use extroverted sensing, it can be make a decision, change a decision, make a decision, change a decision. Whereas brainstorming is let's keep the options open, let's keep looking at patterns, let's keep looking at possibilities, let's keep looking at meanings. So that's all that means. Then, if you gather information externally, you make decisions internally. So which two functions might you use to make decisions? I don't know if it's really So that's all that the MBTI, it's one of the great gifts of the MBTI. It's just that people then tend to confuse the MBTI. And then at the cracking the code, I just rather teach the functions and then explain what this means. In fact, I very rarely explain this. I just say this comes out of using these functions. So questions or comments? That's a fairly heavy bit of theory there.
That's so helpful because, you know, I've worked with MBTI and you're right, that's something I have struggled with. I really got myself in a loop.
Who?
And that's,
Does that help?
that has just shed light.
Okay, good, because for I think too often when we look at cracking the code, you know, you have to sort of get the J and then you do this and then which is your preferred word, whereas this, and if you know, that you're gathering information externally, say with experiencing, and you're making decisions internally, and you have an extroverting preference, you know, this is first and this is second. And that often will help people too. I'll say to you, are you experiencing and then analyzing, or are you analyzing and then experiencing? And that influences whether you're ESTP or ISTP. And using these cards, one of the things you can do at the end, I've included the BB hierarchy of functions for all 16 types. It's got temperament, interaction style, and the hierarchy of processes on pages 14 and 15. You can actually lay out the cards in a hierarchy of your cognitive processes if you wanted to do that. And Sue and I are in the process of trying to put together cards around the archetypes that Marty introduced yesterday. So you can actually put a card next to, an archetype next to the function card. Just a little bit of content. Yes. And those of you, this is in, everybody got one of these in their bags? There are the instructions on the back of the order form. If anyone wants to put this together, this also shows the hierarchy of functions. Like this. If you can't work out how to fold it, come and see me at the table and I'll show you how to fold it. Because it shows a hierarchy. That's it. And the instructions are on the back of our Empower order form. And so what it does, once it's put together, is you can then, it's color-coded for temperaments. It opens up to show which information gathering function each temperament uses, color-coded for the temperament, which decision-making function each temperament uses, color-coded for the temperament, and then it has the interaction style, the type, the top 4 processes, and the temperaments. Designed by an ISTJ. So thank you very much for your input and attention. And if you've got questions, please do come see, because this is normally about a 4-hour session. So.
Thanks, Susan.
Thank you very much. And if you could put the